Hey YouTube, my name is Dan and welcome back to my fish room. So we're going to get straight into the video this week. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed so far and has been watching the videos. It means so much. If you could please continue to like, subscribe, notification bell, leave me a comment. Just, help me grow the channel and do more fun fish stuff. That would be amazing. Get straight into it. Alright guys, so the big thing from this week was I had sourced a second-hand fish tank, 5 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, so about a 550 litre tank. I found it second-hand. It was dirty and needed a bit of a cleanup and potentially would have needed a bit of a reseal just as it had been sitting outside for a while. Was really excited, got it at a really good price, probably a little too good of a price if I'm honest, if something seems too good to be true. Got it delivered and everything like that. It was great. And then when the day after, I discovered that there was actually a crack in the top of the back rim of the tank from a chip. The crack was only, you could see it. You'll see it in a little bit later on, but I couldn't feel the crack on the inside, but I could a little bit from the outside. I spent a good few days kind of going back and forth and looking up, how to reseal aquariums and did a bit of studying on that, which was cool. It's good things to know, and decided to push on and start cleaning up the tank and starting to work towards the resealing thing. From there, as I got into it and I realized this was probably a bit of a bigger job than I had first anticipated. I did get it cleaned up and looking much nicer, but I noticed in that all the sealant inside was just flaking off. It must have been so old, and to be fair, in a lot of places the sealant was just not there. There was some residue so where it had been, but just wasn't there anymore. And as I was getting through into it, I could see where there was a weir at the back where they'd obviously built like the overflow system. It was just dirty and disgusting, and there was so much stuff caught in it, so I decided I had to take that off to reset it and re-clean it and everything. And then from there it was a case of, well, let's follow this sealant along around the back. Found that there was another crack in the bottom that had already been sealed, and so yeah, I lost a good 2, 3, 4 days to this, and finally just decided it's just too much of a problem, and I wouldn't feel comfortable having fish in there in a tank that could potentially crack and leak, or just leak from the the resealing job that I would have had to have done. And yeah, it was just really frustrating. I was very bummed out about it, and I actually was running. I don't have a whole lot of space down here, and I didn't have. It was taking up so much space, and there was not much I could do about it. I did luckily manage to shift it. I actually just put it up for free, and I just lost the money on it, and that's fine. It was a couple of $100, but I'd rather do that. And the guy was going to go get the whole back seal taken off and redone, and he was way more confident and had contacts in the city that that he was going to get that done. Like, that's fine, but for me, I couldn't trust it. So yeah, unfortunately, that was a waste of $200 and about a week or so of my life and my sanity, and also all the other stuff that I need to be doing here in the fish room. So it was really a challenge. Then outside of that, I now then had to move on to my other projects, which I'd put off a little bit, but needed to be done, which is the second setup of my new racking system. All right, guys, so we're doing a bit of a reshift of the fish room. I'm adding a second rack here. I'm just going to take this tank and this tank and pop them there and there. And then this tank I'm just going to place over here for this time. It just opens up this space a little bit more just as things are getting tight until that tank goes. Things are just getting a little bit tight and moving around. It is meant to be a functional garage for my girlfriend to park her car. Mine just lives on the drive because it's old. And then obviously I would like to be able to use my gym space at some point as well, which right now is being taken up by a no good 5 foot fish tank, but probably a very good 5 foot reptile enclosure. Maybe I should get into reptiles. No, one thing at a time. Don't have the space right now. I'd rather have fish. So anyway, yeah, so I've got to drain this, move this out of the way, switch all the electricals that are currently here over to here so I can actually access them, because once this goes in, it's going to be very difficult for me to get to. yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so that space is cleared. All looks pretty flat and good. And the new rack literally fits in this space here, which is nice. I might even be able to figure out a way to keep all those cables where they are, because that could just be used as a bit of dead space, makes life a bit tidier. But time to build the rack. This is the heavier, it's the 210 litre. It makes sense, even though this 4 foot is only 180, it makes sense for this to go along the bottom in my head, because it's the 4. It's also the lower thing, so it's going to be easier for me to get my head and hands in here. Oh, sorry, don't mind me guys, I'm pretty sure I broke my toe this morning. This tank is higher, it makes more sense for it to go here where it's got the open room. So what that means though is I now have to drain this tank, move the fish, move the tank over. I suppose I could always just fill the tank back up, it's just going to be hard. I'll have a try actually, I might just try that, draining the tank enough to push it, move that, then I can at least do this one at a time, because yeah, if I have to drain this, put all the fish back into another bucket, but I'll have to do that anyway because I won't be able to heat it up. Okay, yep, just gonna have to do this. Sometimes this is just what you have to do, right? So we're draining this tank as low as we can go. I'm filling up this tank for extra water. I will stop this in a second so they don't sit there on half mast for too long. This has to be basically filled up, heated up, and then I'm gonna empty this all the way down, keep the fish in it. See, my girlfriend and I is gonna pick up the whole thing and just shove it. Not ideal, but that's just what we're going to do. Otherwise, it's just going to be too much and my brain's going to explode. Alright, so we are in. That was a bit of back and forth with Bunnings had given me the wrong brackets, so that was a bit frustrating. I had to do a bit of back and forth. So this is how it's currently set. Now, this tank is going to go down here. It's just slightly longer than 4 foot, but with these things which are level, that should give me the 4 foot. I might even just put my longer boards that just overlap onto here as well, just to make sure there's no gap. But I think that gap should be fine because this is braced. Or I'm even actually thinking I could even just take this off and put that along here. Now it is a very deep shelf, which I probably don't need it to be that deep, but it's the strongest one. And I know my tanks are only, you know, around the 200. Sorry, when I see stickers, I have to just peel them off. Otherwise it drives me nuts. Now this is quite a deep tank, so I would need it for this one. For that one, maybe not so much, but the other one is only 400 kilos capacity per shelf, and I know that this is still under, well, just over half of that weight. I'd just rather not mess with it, you know. It's frustrating that this is essentially now dead space, but the idea is that this tank will go kind of here, just to make the most of not being underneath that. And then I've still got a bit of space around here to get to, or I can put stuff down the side here as well. So that is just, when I step back, oh, that's way too messy to really get a feel for it. It feels pretty good to me. It does feel more crowded because obviously I can't, you know, the old tank here was shallower than this, so this is now sticking out more. But I think long term it works. It gives me some shelf space to put things on, and it just combines, especially if this is going to be a 5-foot tank, you know, it just kind of fits things in nicely. And I can get under here if I need to. I mean, I know this is a long tank here, but I can get through here, I can lean over, I can get around to the plugs. It's not ideal, but it'll do. And like I said, I'm only renting, so I can't do too much. And I think this is a good option. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Okay, so we managed to get this emptied and just popped onto here so I can put the back on. And just so that I can actually get this done. So, all right, so change of plan. This would not fit down here. Dimensionally, it does technically fit, but because of the angles having to try and get it to go in, it just wasn't going to work. No matter how I tried to twist it and spin it, which is, you know what, a blessing in disguise in a way, because I was planning on moving this whole rack over to here and putting this on the top, and it wouldn't have worked. So blessings in disguise. So this tank has just been filled up. I put a black background on it because why not? And I actually quite like that light there. I'll see how I go with it. It might be too dark. Now the plan is, because again we've mixed these things up, to make life easier for myself on the move. And I know it's slightly less water amount, but all of these guys are going to go into this tank. And then that tank will be emptied, put down here, probably at this side bit here, because I reckon I could fit another slimline tank like that in there. And then apricot, the severum, and the hoplo catfish, which I will get more of eventually, will go in here. And I'm actually going to do a very quick mini escape on that one, because they're essentially going to stay in there now for a while. So that's kind of my idea. And then, yeah, I'll have something down here at some point, but that should be fine to fit that in there. But yeah, so basically this is just filled up. It was all level. It was a bit of hard work, but we got there. My wonderful girlfriend gave me a hand. And so now I've just got to heat this up and yeah, move everyone over. I'll see how I go. If I can get them moved over tonight, I will. If not, I'll do it first thing in the morning. And yeah. All right, guys, it's another early start. So, good morning. So it's now the next morning, and the tank is all looking good. I'm very happy with that, actually. Let me just put that light on there. All right, there we go. So I'm actually really pleased with that sitting here. I've got some ideas about what I've got to do. I've got to get longer tubes for that, but for now, that will suffice. That's absolutely fine. So the plan is these guys are all going to move over here. I'm then just going to drain that tank. Apricot and the hoplo catfish have just been living in this bucket fine overnight. They're warm, there's a heater, there's all their filters in there. That's all just to stop them jumping. And you can see Apricot's just looking at me there, but because this tank's going to be drained, put over here, and I'm just going to do the quickest of escapes on it, potentially. I'll see how I go with that one. I'm actually just going to drain this water straight into a container for them. These guys have both been medicated. They both were sharing tanks before, so they've both been medicated, and I'm okay now with that happening. And then the idea is this is going to go under here, and because this is the bigger tank, and actually makes a nice sort of mini home, because I'm not sure if Apricot Lot will ever be able to go in the big tank with Frankie, because those two fought immediately, but it might just been because they were a similar size in a small tank, so I'm hoping that they can all go in together. So this will go under here, and both of these will probably end up becoming just grow out tanks for babies and fish and stuff that are born in the fish room, because they're nice. They're basically 180, 210 litres, good size water volume, will lead to some good growth. So I've got to get moving because we're going out for an adventure day, my girlfriend and I. So I've got to get this done before we go out, and I don't want to take too long. So let's crack on. So I put that black background on. I think they just feel a bit more secure. But yeah, pretty happy with that. Muesli's out and about, having a little sniff at the food. It's so annoying. You get a new, you clean your tank up, you wipe it down, and then you fill it up, then you start putting stuff in, and then like Ziz filters or sponge filters or even the canister just has some stuff in it, and then as you turn it back on again, all the gunk goes into the tank, but that'll clear up in no time. It's not much, it's just malm and stuff like that. Sorry, I know you can't really see much. Okay, so then the plan now, I've just got enough time. I want to drain this, and just for my own peace of mind, I want to basically move this over here just so I know how that works, so that I don't spend the rest of the day thinking about it. And then I'm off, and I'll come back this afternoon and do a little bit more. So Apricot and the hoplos are in. So a bit of a spur of the moment kind of, and just very hodgepodge attempt at scaping. Honestly, I just wanted to get the wood in and let it soak. As you can see, this one, well, they're both being weighed down. And as much as I am a fan of the ease of which keeping, say, the Discus in the bare bottom tank, even just from the last few hours of watching these guys in and around here, giving them some that enrichment in the tank, the things to swim around and through. Apricot has been exploring more, actually actively kind of getting involved. Like it makes sense. I'm always open to sort of changing my mind about things, and finding a way to strike a balance between minimalism, because obviously I need to move and things like that with these guys. I'm not set in this place, like we could we're renting it, so I don't want to go for these beautifully aquascaped tanks and put loads of time into it, because they'll get torn down potentially in 6 months to a year to maybe 2 years, but also the bare bottom where there's not much else going on. Because Apricot seems much happier, much more enthused, don't you, buddy? And I actually don't mind this tank down here. I'm in two minds about it, because I have to just see how I go over the next few weeks with the maintenance and actually getting in there and using this thing. This one up here, excuse all the food, that's, that's where it lives at the moment. This I am so happy with. This is like, it feels like it was almost meant to be and fit here. But I was actually thinking what I could do is this cupboard is quite nice, this stand. I'm thinking of actually using the stand to store the canister filter in there to run into here. But, so yeah, I'm actually thinking of spinning this lengthways along here. I could put that tank back up there and have it just kind of running out like this, which I actually think would look really nice to have like a lengthways tank coming out here. And then this potentially, I set some more tanks like this down here, or even buckets or my grow outs, or maybe this could be where I store you know, like I've got to really get into and understand, you know, green water and Daphnia and get some of the more live cultures and stuff going. So I'm like, maybe this could actually be where I have that, because as much as I'm fine with it down there, it potentially might be a hard one to maintain. I'll have to see how I go. Because then for now, these guys, this all needs to find somewhere that it needs to be stored, probably on here once I've tidied this all up. These guys are looking good. Everyone needs a water change over here. We've got Discus, and then this is going to be the, well, hospital tank, and then I've obviously got my water storage, you know, warmy uppy thing. And then I've actually got my gym back, sort of. It's a bit of a mess. I've got to clean that up, but that actually looks quite nice there. Then the plan is in the next few months, because I've just decided I'm going to buy brand new and just have the comfort and the confidence in the tank that I buy. So this would basically be the 5 foot tank would go essentially to there. So I think that's about 5 foot, give or take, probably a bit longer. But for now that can live there. So it's cool. It's, as always with this stuff, and I'm learning, it's a work in progress. And I try not to get too ahead of myself and want to change things back too much or change things around too much, because you'll always, you know, you've got to kind of live it for a little while. Like I say, this tank down here, I actually like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Hello, buddy. And I do like this fish a lot more. He's because he's been confirmed. Very cool fish. Still only little and got a bit of growing to do, which is very cool because they do get big. But just, yeah, just a fun little fish, but way more interactive now. So yeah, lesson for this week, trying to give them that enrichment. And I also watched a video from the Australian aquarist. I think that's his name. I'll have to find the name of his channel and put it in. But very cool dude. I've only just discovered his channel, and he's actually not that far away from me geographically. Potentially just like an hour or so away, I think. But he was talking about, with monster fish in particular, how the trend has become just to have the, you know, the bare bottom empty tank and just have an overstocked, you know, big fish in this blank tank and whatnot. And I'm like, yeah, he's not wrong there in that, you know, fish deserve that enrichment, and it is about trying to find the balance. Alright guys, we will leave that there for this week. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you've gotten to the end of this video, I really appreciate it. If you could please like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. As I said, it really helps the channel out. And yeah, Apricot and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.